The drought and the deal, the village of Ntabeni, had thrived for generations, sustained by the great river that flowed through its heart. But now the river had run dry. The crops withered under the relentless sun, the livestock grew weak with thirst, and the people of Ntabeni faced a dire fate. The rains had not come for months, and hope was fading fast. Mvelo, a young man of the village, watched the river's last trickle of water disappear into the cracked earth. Desperation gnawed at him. His people were suffering, and no one seemed to have a solution. The elders had spoken of the river's spirit, MaMlambo, the ancient guardian who controlled the flow of the water. Some said she was a beautiful, mysterious woman. Others believed her to be a terrifying monster of the deep. With the future of the village hanging in the balance, Mvelo decided to seek out MaMlambo. He would ask her to restore the river's flow, despite the warnings of the elders. He found Elder Nyati, the wisest of the village, sitting beneath the shade of a baobab tree. The elder had seen many seasons come and go, and he was the keeper of the village's ancient wisdom. Elder Nyati, what can we do? The river has forsaken us, and without its water we cannot survive, Mvelo said, his voice filled with desperation. Nyati opened his eyes slowly, his gaze heavy with knowledge passed down through generations. The river has not forsaken us, young one, he said. It is we who have forgotten the ways of the river. It is life itself, and life is a delicate balance. But there is one path left, though it is fraught with danger. Mvelo's heart raced. What is it? The elder's voice grew quieter. The spirit of the river, MaMlambo. She is real, and she controls the river's flow. If you seek her out, she may grant your request. But be warned, MaMlambo demands a price for her gifts. A price you may not be willing to pay. Mvelo nodded. I will do whatever it takes. If she can save the village, I will pay the price. Follow the river to its source, Nyati instructed. There you will find her, but once you make a deal with the spirit, there is no turning back. Mvelo set out on his journey that very night. The path to the river's source wound through dense forests, rocky terrain, and the shadowy places where few dared to tread. As he ventured deeper into the wilderness, the trees seemed to close in around him, and the air became thick with mist. The further he went, the more he could feel an ancient presence watching him. After many hours of walking, Mvelo reached the source of the river, a small, still pool of water reflecting the full moon above. The silence was thick and unsettling. He knelt by the water's edge and whispered a prayer, calling upon the spirit to reveal herself. At first, there was nothing but stillness. Then, the surface of the water began to ripple, and slowly, MaMlambo emerged. She was both beautiful and terrifying, her form shifting between that of a woman and a creature of the deep. Her hair flowed like the river itself, and her eyes glowed with an unnatural light. You have called me, MaMlambo said, her voice a soft whisper that seemed to echo in the stillness. Why have you come, mortal? Mvelo swallowed his fear. Great Spirit, my people are dying. The river has dried up and we have no water. I beg you, restore the river's flow and save my village. MaMlambo regarded him with cold, unblinking eyes. The river is mine, she said. It flows and dies by my will. But you seek to change its course. Why should I grant you this favor? Mvelo bowed his head. I will do anything you ask. Whatever the price, I will pay it. The spirit circled him, her gaze piercing. Anything, you say? Very well. I can restore the river, but nothing is free. You must give me something in return, something precious. Mvelo hesitated. What must I give you? He asked. MaMlambo smiled, her sharp teeth flashing for a brief moment. Your future, she said. Your destiny. The river will flow again, but you will be bound to me, to the river, for as long as it flows. Your life will no longer be your own. Mvelo's heart pounded, but he knew he had no choice. I accept, he whispered. The river's return and the price as MaMlambo spoke the final words of their agreement. The water around her began to churn and swirl. With a great surge, the river came roaring back to life, its waters rushing through the parched earth, bringing life to the village once more. The drought was over, and Ntabeni was saved. The people rejoiced, praising Mvelo as a hero who had restored their lifeline. The village flourished in the days that followed, the river once again flowing with abundance. Crops grew tall and green, and the livestock regained their strength. Yet, even in the midst of the celebration, Mvelo felt a growing unease. He had kept his promise to save his people, but at what cost? At night, Mvelo's sleep was restless, filled with dreams of MaMlambo. He saw her face in the water, her eyes always watching him. Her voice echoed in his mind, reminding him of the bargain they had made. "You belong to me now," she whispered. "Your fate is tied to the river, just as you wished." The weight of the deal began to wear on Mvelo. As time passed, he noticed changes in himself. His energy waned, and he felt as though the river was draining his spirit. His dreams were haunted by visions of MaMlambo, always lurking beneath the surface of the water, waiting for him. He realized that his life was no longer his own. It belonged to the river and to MaMlambo. One night, unable to bear the burden any longer, Mvelo returned to the river's edge. The moonlight shimmered on the water's surface, and he could feel MaMlambo's presence even before she appeared. "You belong to me now," MaMlambo said softly, her voice carrying on the breeze. "Your future, your destiny, is mine. You will remain bound to the river for as long as it flows." Mvelo's heart sank. He had sacrificed his freedom for his people, and now he was trapped in a fate he could not escape. He thought of his village, flourishing and alive, and the price he had paid to ensure their survival. As the years passed, Mvelo grew older and wearier, the weight of his deal with MaMlambo draining him of life. The river flowed strong, but Mvelo felt weaker with each passing day. He knew there was only one way to break free from the spirit's hold. On a quiet night, under the full moon, Mvelo made his way to the river one final time. His heart was heavy, but his resolve was firm. "Take my soul if you must," he called out to MaMlambo, "but free my people from this curse. Let them live without the weight of this bargain." MaMlambo emerged from the water, her eyes gleaming with satisfaction. "A noble choice," she said, her voice as smooth as the river's flow. "The river gives, and the river takes. Your sacrifice will be remembered." With a final step, Mvelo waded into the water, disappearing beneath its surface, his fate sealed. The river continued to flow, bringing life to the village of Ntabeni. The people thrived, unaware of the true cost of their prosperity. Yet, in the quiet of the night, some say they can still hear the whispers of MaMlambo and the name of the one who gave everything to save them.